Howdy, howlers! It's Sako to me, also known as Cass Voight. I write horror, and I'm a witch, and I'm a graphic designer, and sometimes I combine these three things to bring you content. So if you are looking to market yourself as an author, or you are looking to be a witchier witch, I'm glad you're here. It's nice to see you. My guest today is Raven Stromdance, and he was just telling me about the last tarot reading he had.
Hey everyone, Raven Stromdance here, last of the Red Hot Swamis, the wielder of the last blade of Twilight. Not that Twilight. I have to specify that specifically now. Bad trademark. Anyhow, okay. So the last reading that we were talking about specifically about shadow readings.
Shadow work, yeah.
And I was breaking down the last reading I got from a mutual friend of ours. I asked a specific question from her base deck, and got a reading from that. And then she broke out her beautiful shadow deck, and her shadow deck I gave it so like a more general. Okay, what is the work I need to do? And that was woo. I should not have asked that question. I was not prepared for that answer.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where the question where you have to know ahead of time if the question that you're asking you really want the answer for when it comes for shadow work.
When it comes, you have to be open-minded.
You have to be like, all right, I am prepared. Hit me.
Yeah.
And whether or not you're really prepared or not, you will find out when the answers show up.
Yeah. So I want to say hi to the people that are hanging out. Hi, Destiny, you came early. Hi, Sage, you came early too. Hi, Jenny, watching out for people. Destiny's going to try and reach the word count goal as early as possible. Well, you probably don't want to be here then. You probably...
We're going to distract you.
We're going to distract you for an hour at least. We are, however, going to be doing sprints at Sage's channel at 11, so that's 2 hours from now. We're going to be doing pen name workshop and writing sprints. Jenny is going to be editing, and then chopping, and then editing. Finding plot holes and inconsistencies are that's my bread and butter, man. But that's what beta readers do for me. Sometimes I'm too close to the document, and I'm just like, someone else needs to look at this, and I need a break because I can't tell what makes sense and what doesn't. I have all the story in my head, and I don't know what I've put down, because people only know what I've told them. So sometimes the mystery isn't great. Destiny is drafting, so pages upon pages of notes, but have been finding that did not think of everything. Oh, I have to stop and look things to keep the story going. Oh.
Okay, there it is.
Oh. Hi, Ginny. Hi, Eva. Hello, darling.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Natalie. So good to see you guys. Also, Sage is back. Oh. Well, I'm glad the smoke isn't coming from you. Yikes. So I came prepared to talk about the differences between hedge witches and other kinds of witches, like kitchen witches or green witches.
You're a chaos witch, right? That would be separate too.
Yep.
Presumably.
Yep. Though I can be considered a hedge witch because I do hedge ride.
Okay. So it's not specifically a what was the word I'm thinking of? Philosophy situation. It's more of the skills you use.
There is definitely a philosophy. We have like not rules, not tenets, but
They're
kind of
guidelines.
principles, I guess. Yes, I'm a chaos witch. Charlotte is like, chaos? What? Hi, Fee. Hi, Estelle. I didn't see you guys come in.
I mean, my mom is weird in that she's a Christo pagan, and her so she'll actually practice spells while still believing that Jesus Christ was a real person.
Like
She
conjure.
was under the her perspective on Christianity is that Jesus was a witch, and that's why he was able to do the things he could do. Is like he was in, and I always associate that with there's a book series, Kushiel's Dart.
Yeah.
Where the author, I wish I could remember her name off the top of my head, sort of took Christianity and turned it on its head, where in that version of Christianity, in the version of Christianity that's in that book, Jesus is represented by Blessed Alua, and instead of being born of God and of God and a woman, is born by the goddess and a woman, or the god, or he was like born of the earth. So it made him more of a an earth child as opposed to a Abrahamic God child.
Right. That's it. Sorry if the trash guys are here, so it might get noisy. So I'm glad that today is a day where we can actually talk about the difference between different paths between witchcraft. Yeah. So I actually have a thing I can read. Hedgecraft is fairly new, but based in very old traditions dating back centuries. Throughout history, wise woman and medicine woman traditions have risen and fallen, but never truly died out. In recent years, more and more people are turning to these old traditions and adapting them to modern times. Where it actually began is a mystery, but it likely finds its roots in Great Britain. Some suggest the term itself comes from the Saxon word hegtessa, which translates to hedge rider. Wise women and medicine men tended to live on the outskirts of town, where the hedgerows separate the wild from the civilized. Hence the appropriateness of hegtessa, as these individuals were able to ride between our civilized world Earth and the wild otherworld. Excuse me. So the hedge is referring to the separation between the planes, particularly this plane and the next. Usually you would go into the lower plane, but I made the mistake of going into the transition between the lower plane and the middle plane. By accident. That was not on purpose. So it's not necessarily people who use herbs and grow things and stuff like that, forest green. A lot of green witches do hedge ride. So like they use herbs to make the salves and stuff like that. I find that hedge riding, or flying the hedge, or jumping the hedge, walking the hedge, whatever you want to call it, they have a tendency to spend much of their life with one foot on either side of the veil, right? And they are able to walk freely into Gaelic for the thin places. There are holidays like Samhain where the veil is particularly thin, So going to the lower realm and speaking with ancestors and speaking with spirits is a lot easier on Samhain than it would be otherwise.
I guess we get a lot of, I guess based on that definition, we get a lot of misconflation, as it were, of green witch and hedge witch being essentially the same thing, or being another term.
Right.
So,
and they're not. And
Because we
that's a very
associate hedges.
Wiccan way. That's a very Wiccan way to look at it too.
That's a lot of people's only in, as a lot of mainstream people's only in when it comes to understanding what witchcraft incorporates is Wiccan, because it rose to prominence just enough so that mainstream folks are like, hey, witchcraft, that doesn't seem scary.
Well, it depends on the pantheon, right? So if they're just doing like Kernoon or the god and goddess sort of deal, then yeah, it's not so scary, right?
Yeah.
But the Catholics can respect the ritual, right? They have scheduled power outage at 5 p.m., which is when our thing is supposed to be. But they have to change the schedule randomly. Oh, I can carry the stream? ? Okay, it'll be fine. Hi, Devin. So good to see you. Hi, Suey. Yay! I didn't see you come in. Oh, hello.
Peoples, all the peoples.
Yay! And Fee. I've one of Devin's fangirls. Yeah, me too. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so kitchen witches also. So I want to say that a green witch can be a hedge witch, but a hedge witch doesn't necessarily mean she's a green witch, right? So, like, I have a couple of green tendencies, but like not as far as. I think it goes as far as like my kitchen witchery, like basil for money, cinnamon for protection. Is shit like that. Smash that like button, thank you. All the Aussies are here. Ooh. Yeah, we can bump it back. I'll be around. All thumbs are fingers. Not all fingers are thumbs. Exactly. Just finished breakfast. Strokes the like button and dingles the bell. Dingle, dingle. Also, be careful with the bell. If you do, tell it to send all things. Otherwise, you might not be reminded of shit. It'll just like randomly decide what to remind you of. That's pretty awesome. Less of a fangirl, more of a chaotic deity that lead people astray. Discord. So I can talk about the principles of chaos magic, and people might realize that that's their discipline. That's they just didn't know that there were words for it. That happened with a lot of women in our chaos group based out of Richmond. It was women who heard the principles and were like, oh, there's a word for that. I've always been a chaos witch. I never realized. Yes, always. Select all notifications. Tell us of the chaos. Okay. I actually have the book in front of me. I did a video on the 6 principles, but I can talk about it a little bit now. For one, there's a lack of dogma So be experimental. What works for one witch isn't necessarily going to work for another. So that's one thing that I had a problem with in Wicca is you have to do it this way, and this is the only way to do it. And if it doesn't work for you, then you're a bad witch. And I don't, in chaos witchery, that's not a thing. Like, it's just a technique that didn't work for you. Like, maybe you need to go to a different discipline.
Mm-hmm.
So my stuff is like picked and chosen from different disciplines. Chaotic robot. I prefer deity. Don't identify as anything specifically in the realm of paganism or Wiccan. Different circles slot me into different things. I'm good with whatever. I just do what I do. Yeah. Second, you learn through practice. So you literally have to figure out what works for you and what doesn't.
Certain amount of trial and error.
There's an amount of trial and error, which is great because if a spell fails, the mentality is less, oh, I'm a bad witch. Why don't my spells work? As opposed to the reality is probably like, I just don't attune to that magic. Like, I just don't. This particular spell doesn't work for me. The third is is technical excellence, right? So be scientific about your practice. So if a spell doesn't work, record your findings. Maybe you can find out why it didn't work, and then try the next thing. Record your findings. Like I'm pretty big on keeping record. This is my book of mirrors. I have a grimoire and I have a book of shadows. So I record a lot. There's a deconditioning. So you got to let go of that dogma. You got to let go of preconceived notions of what witchcraft is. I'm glad you made a coffee stream. Hey, oh, did Fee make a coffee stream? Or you're talking that Fee actually managed to be awake for my coffee? Okay, bye, Jenny. It's only because I was asleep all day yesterday. I see. What's the difference between books? Okay. A grimoire is more like an encyclopedia of sorts. A book of shadows is more like a journal of your journey. And then a book of mirrors is your scientific findings about witchcraft. You can combine these into one book and call it whatever you want, but I have specific purposes for each book. Records are cool. Prefers these. Waka waka. Made it to this one. Hooray. No, yeah. Yeah, 5 is diverse approaches. Again, figuring out what works for you. And I thought there was a 6. Oh, gnosis. So gnosis is a big part of chaos witchery. It's that place between wake and sleep. It's an altered state of consciousness. So excitement or hypnosis, lucid dreaming, that kind of like weird in-between stage. That's where they do most of their spell work. Is like skirting the line, which is why we glide right into hedge writing, because we're like skirting that line all the time.
I apologize if I make if I tend to make associations with this with fiction that I've read, but
Sure.
mostly that's a result of that's what I've been that's where I've been exposed to the widest variety of magic systems.
Sure.
And the one that comes to mind, or the one that comes to mind from what you talked about so far,
Hmm.
is Diane Duane, right? Who wrote the Young Wizards series,
Yeah.
which predates Harry Potter by about 30 years,
Oh.
and is actually but actually kind of runs along the same structure, where the it had the magic is treated as as you when you're younger, you have more your spells tend to be more powerful, but
Whew.
but less focused. And as you get older and you learn and and like you said, you sort of have this scientific, it's all a scientific aspect. And the further along you get, the more focused and more result driven your spells can become, because
Absolutely.
you've learned how to focus your abilities. And it structured it between, all right, this is how the universe works, and this is where your skill set lies innately. And then as you get older and as you get more skilled, the more you get the two together until you can make that like laser focus of what you're capable of doing. It's like the two main characters have very different innate abilities. There's a male and a female, and that are main characters. I do not remember their names off the top of my head. I haven't read these books in 20
Forever.
something years.
Yeah.
But the guy is very construct oriented. Is like he can talk to cars. He can make wands out of car antennas.
Oh, nice.
He can speak to structures basically.
Right.
And that's what he's attuned towards. Whereas the girl it's a very stereotypical split. But for a kid's book, it's because it's a young adult book.
Sure.
It's a little easy. It comes across easier, I think.
Cool.
She's got the Earth Mother effect. She can speak to plants. She's good with animals, and her magic is her magic. While his magic is more naturally destructive. Oh, hello,
Who are you?
Raven Strom Dance, writer, Last of the Red Hot Swamis. I'm not gonna go into the Twilight thing again because I hate going through that. The and friend of Sako. No,
Yeah.
over here. There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
But
We are IRL friends, and he's one of the few writer buddies that I have. So I invited him to stream.
and something of a newbie to the author tube structure.
Yeah.
Except, I've been visiting, but this is my first time face to face.
Yeah. Though this
So
is kind of like a on the outskirts sort of thing, because it's less
Yeah.
authory and more
More
woo
woo.
more woo woo. Yeah.
I do recommend those books for anyone who can. What I was gonna finish with is that while the boy's magic is kind of explicitly more capable of destruction,
Mhm.
hers tends to be more capable of creation and non threatening, because they both create wands. She gets one as a gift from her favorite tree that she's been bonding with since she was a very young child, because I think the first book takes place when they're like 10 or 11 years old. And that tree basically guts out part of its heartwood to help it to make her wand, and she can basically send blasts out in it that are mostly distraction. They can't actually hurt anything. Whereas when he gets a hold of his antenna wand, he's like, it's like a lightsaber. He's cutting through doors and shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do recommend those books. They're actually really interestingly well written, and given the circumstances of the current state of the Potterverse, and considering it predated it by like almost two full generations, It's
Mhm.
it's actually I think it's a good read for anybody who likes magic and is interested in seeing a different magic system that actually, like I said, kind of follows the precepts of what you set down as what chaos magic involves.
Sure. So Charlotte was ha-haing at the place between wake and sleep. That's also called hypnagogia.
Mm.
That is I just released a video on that. And it is a state of mind where, like, Ernest Hemingway got his ideas, and Albert Einstein got his ideas, Ben Franklin, he got his ideas when he was in this state of mind. And I have I go into like how to go into this state and come out of it. I've got like definitions from different professors. I also equate it to out of body experiences, astral projection, and all of that, because you are usually in gnosis when you do astral projection. And my mind goes blank all of a sudden. The out of body experiences and near death experiences. So those who have experienced near death experiences, their hypnagogic state is going to be like elongated.
As in going forward, or just in that moment?
Going forward.
Okay.
We make twig wands for fun from my yard. We attach little crystals and charms, or we did for a while, a couple years ago. Not to use just because they look cool. That's cool. For the wee one, I am assuming. So my my niece, who is 6 years old, looked at my Book of Shadows, which is like a fancy leather one with hand pressed paper and a gem in the middle of the cover. She said she wanted a grimoire of her own, and I was like, well, so I went on Etsy and found one. She's like, I want a pink grimoire. And I was like, I can find a pink grimoire. That is totally a thing. So it just came in the mail yesterday. And it was not cheap.
I'll bet not.
It's like pink leather. Like stacks of scrap paper next to my bed because I get ideas. Yeah, that is one of the steps, is like basically the hypnagogic state is, mine's about 10 minutes, but you can go 20 or 30 if depending.
Always leave breadcrumbs so you can find your way back.
Yeah, no kidding. I use when I'm hedge writing, I use a specific sigil to that acts as a tether, so that I can find my way back home. Hi, Alexis. Nice to see you. Good morning. The twig wands actually began from the Harry Potter themed baby shower. Oh, someone liked the concept of the rustic, all natural vibe, so we made one. Ended up making lots. The kiddo makes it complicated with the little parts. Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's rare that you see people making their wands out of stuff that's more construct as opposed to natural build. Like the guy I was talking about in the book with his antenna wand. You don't see. I feel like you don't see a lot of that. A lot of that in witchy circles.
Not in Wicca.
Right. Okay.
In chaos magic, you can use fucking anything as a wand. Anything. It can be like one that you bought at like Harry Potter World at Ollivander's, or you can, because that's my wand, is wand that I bought at Ollivander's. Or I find besoms work better. Like, I don't need a weapon. I just need something to kind of like bat off assailant.
Oh, okay. Shoo.
Shoot. Away.
I was just thinking along the lines of like, how often would, or how, in what circumstance would you see somebody with a steampunk wand? Like something like something with lots of little moving parts in it and stuff.
Oh, that would be interesting. My sister is aware of witchcraft. It's not her path, but she understands it. So, like, she has no problem with her daughter like hanging out with me during my witchy stuff. There's no problem.
Eva's got the right idea.
Really into using things from our property and art. Yep, it is witchy. Having our own twigs is neat. Yeah. Doctor Who's screwdriver.
That was what I was thinking. Yeah.
Could be a wand. Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome.
It's like, I forget where we got it from, but somewhere along the way we actually picked up a Sonic cereal spoon for my son.
Oh, cool.
It looks like it's got a sonic screwdriver on one end, and the other end is an actual spoon that lights up.
That's hilarious.
I don't know where the hell that is now. I know we had it. I don't know where it is right now.
I have an oak wand that I started and haven't finished. I don't know. I should, I guess, finish it. I just haven't had a need for one. You know?
I'm super tempted to get the walking stick from my from my books, from my stories actually created. It's intended to look like at first glance a slightly longer bit than a cane.
Mm-hmm.
But if you turn it just the right way, you realize it's an actual wooden sword.
Oh, cool.
And I wanted to get that made for a while, but the one time I talked to a woodcrafter about it, I didn't get a chance. I didn't have the funds to put it together, and I never got around to it.
Right.
But I kind of want to get that made in real life, just as if nothing else, as a prop for getting my mind straight about my stories.
Pens are their own beast.
That's true.
Pens are their own beast. Ukuleles also their own beast.
You don't find a lot of wands that make noise,
Or
even music.
It depends. Like for those who put bells on their wands.
Oh, that's fair.
Like to break up bad chi and stuff like that.
Flute
Negativity or whatever. Negative spirits.
Turn a wand into a recorder.
You can do that too. That's like combining multiple purposes for one item, which is cool.
Yeah, it's like Alton Brown says, you shouldn't have any unitaskers unless you really have to.
What if
that's fair.
wands make sound and we just never hear it? Like a whistle, or depending on what you're. Because, like, when you're in the other world, like, your tools do different shit.
Yeah.
Right? So, a penny whistle wand, yeah.
I kind of like the idea of like setting a wand out like a wind chime, and then it's like using that as like a charging feature. It's like you're actually picking up the energy as the wind blows through it you get a sound effect, not like special effect, but like a sound effect on it, and generating some of the energy that comes through that.
Yeah. You're like,
Yeah. Ideas are percolating.
Yeah. I keep chimes in my kitchen. I keep chimes in my blanket fort to break up bad stuff. I have a charm on my besom, and my besom is only like yay big, so that I can just, as opposed to like with a big broom doing weird stuff. You can use an athame or athame or however you want to say it.
I usually say a tame.
You can,
like with a hard th, but I've heard it said so many different ways. I don't know that there's a proper way to say it.
I don't even know if there's a proper way to say it. Yeah. Sea witches are an interesting sort. There's a lot of them in Southeast Virginia. That's not my walk, but it's a really powerful, very specific discipline of magic. Sea witches are awesome. I have a deep respect for them.
One of the aspects my ex follows is specifically Weather Witch. And so I wish she would stop messing with it because it gives her migraines. It's like I feel like that it's an innate ability that she has not properly focused, or not properly explored. Yeah. So she's trying to she tends to brute force things, and it's like that backfires spectacularly.
Yeah, especially with something as, I mean, the kind of spirits that you're working against when you're brute forcing weather magic is, and you're messing with like air pockets and pressure sensitivity and stuff like that. So of course she's getting migraines.
Yeah.
Me personally, when I hedge ride, I can only do it for like 10 to 30 minutes, and I come out with like a cluster headache. Like this is part of my hedge riding.
That's a toolkit. Yeah.
It's part of my toolkit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think part of the problem is that she makes a point that she has kind of an impulsive streak when it comes to what she decides to do, and when she decides to do it, once she decides to do it, she's not taking any kind of precautions or making preparations. She just goes straight for it. As like in some cases that's okay. In that one, I do feel like she gets
working with stuff big. I think she's a little out of her depth, maybe.
Yeah.
Like when you've got something as big as that, like I strongly recommend doing like a new moon, full moon thing. I mean, you can get an intense amount of power from lightning storms and the like, and that's playing with Kali, right? That's a manifestation of her. Which is a topic in and of itself.
Yeah.
Recognizing deities in things in life.
I don't know. I don't honestly know which pantheon aspect she touches on when she's playing with that.
She might not be. She might not have a dogma. She might not be playing with deities.
Yeah, I think she's kind of got a straight spiritual thing going on, as opposed like spiritual energy thing going on, as opposed to touching on a specific god relation.
Synthesis was a form of aura sensing.
Synthesia.
I associate people's feeling with other feelings. Yeah. Like a sea witch felt like a dark, damp cave with a pool in it. That's cool. Yeah, I definitely understand that. Definitely. All right, I need a drink. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I gotta make something too. My tea is very good, but it's very mouth drying. Water bottle. That'll suffice.
Oh, black velvet with lace around the edges. That's very sweet. Which is funny because I think I just bought a dress that has both of those things, which it's not normally my first choice in fabrics. Oh. So I finally figured out how to link my bank account with PayPal, but the bank keeps saying my PayPal is unverified.
That's weird. I would expect to get that kind of response the other way around.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Can look at a person and see if they're good or bad. Sometimes I see the good under all the bad and ignore the bad. Yeah.
Ugh.
I got you. I want to read some of your writing. I just want to say, that's how you perceive, auras. Then. So yeah, I'm releasing a series of videos this month and part of next month about hedge riding. It will be a long one.
Oh shit. Where'd my mouse go? There it is. Okay.
Ba-dink.
Oh, did you hear the booby?
I heard the gadink.
Yeah, that's the X. You must have heard me talking about her. Right in. Can you check the colors for today and tomorrow off the calendar? Today is the 6th, so I need the 6th and the 7th.
Today is the 6th.
You'll have to come in and tell me. I can't hear you through this helmet.
Turquoise and purple.
Turquoise and purple?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
I went to bed at 1, 2, almost 3.
Spell that word.
It reminded me that I had not filled out the things on my bullet journal this morning. Tracking my sleep, tracking my day.
I keep meaning to start tracking stuff like my how much I'm writing each day and what I'm eating and my exercise routine to keep a log of what progress I'm making. But God, I'm lazy and I never get around to it.
A lot of people, that is something that I know a lot of people struggle with. Absolutely. They're like, what, writing? But if I don't write it down, I won't remember.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll give it a couple of days to see if the bank figures it out. Otherwise, I'll just use PayPal for international payments and not try to withdraw it to my bank. Oh.
Why does it always default to that?
Yeah.
Every time I go to Patreon, it defaults to a specific episode of What the Fuck Is Wrong with You. It's like I don't need to do. That's not where I need to go. I need to go to my own page.
All right.
Yeah, I still have to. Go ahead.
So, like, maybe your catharsis would be poetic in this way, I hope. And if you see that kind of imagery when you look at a person, then I think that your hedge writing would be really cool.
Or really scary, depending on who you end up seeing.
where you end up. I
Yeah.
think, it was funny when my first hedge writing trip, like I said, I was spat out right on the precipice between the middle realm and the lower realm. And the middle realm is kind of the bad neighborhood, right? So like I found a forest that would be perfect for my domain and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But like the amount of work I would have to put in to protect it and to ward it and to, to make it mine would be annoying. So I decided I'm not going to move. At least not yet.
Mm.
It's fine. So right now I'm just staying local. Boyfriend feels like a warm, vibrating purple electricity, like a violet wand. Comforting vibrations through the flesh. Oh, that's cool. So that's an interesting way to vet people. Like, you're like, oh, I like the way that you make me feel. I think I'll keep you around.
I've actually noticed, at least it's always an initial response. It's not something that's persistent, but people that I find out that I usually find out later down the line that I probably shouldn't have associated with is like the very first impression I get them is often a foul smell.
Oh.
And the problem is it like I said, it's like an initial thing. It happens once, and then it sort of goes away. And if I'm not paying attention to it, I've lost that initial warning. And it isn't until later down the line that I found out, oh yeah, I was supposed to avoid that person. Get that with a lot of my coworkers, but I work in the government, so what do you want?
Just dozed a bit. Does this make me a witch of the live stream chats? What did you see? Do you have any images like left over from your sleepy time? Ha 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 ha.
What? Oh.
Ha 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 ha. Also, law? Printing out your law book? Oh.
A-levels.
Didn't realize Alexis was a lawyer. Or trying to be one. Yeah. Wow. I know how you feel. Ha 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 ha. All the laughing. All the rolling and laughing.
I couldn't get my freaking winter goodies from Camp Nano this year. Every time I tried to follow the link to go get it, it gave me a 404 error.
Oh no.
So it didn't matter what computer I went to. It didn't. I tried it from work. I tried it from home. Couldn't get to it. So, oh well. I know I succeeded. And even the site tells me I succeeded. But for some reason, going to get the winter goodies just never showed. I just couldn't get to it. I have no idea why.
Did you try to get to it before August?
I think it gave me the notification on July 31st. So I think I may have tried to follow the link before August kicked in. So maybe that's how I hosed it up.
Yeah, maybe. Can't remember, but my housemate bought me a hot water bottle, so I'm counting that as magic. Wish I saw that wave. I wish I saw that wavy. Sounds cool as fuck. I just kind of get a Thorn vibe from some folks, though I don't necessarily assume it's negative. usually I assume it's trauma. Yeah. Need to study for A levels, which is basically SAT or LSAT, so I can apply for law school.
Mm.
Want my what? What don't you use?
I are the confused.
I don't know what the M is. Water
Oh,
bottle?
nano rewards.
Oh, nano rewards. Oh, okay. Yeah, probably.
I was
Why?
huh?
Go for it.
The only reason that came to mind, I was actually looking at my the main page of my Patreon, and I was like, I still have Camp NaNoWriMo's 2017 winner on there. That seems like I'm sitting on my laurels for quite some time.
Oops. Hi, RK. How's it going? Actually, I could bring you on, and we can talk about meditation and out-of-body experiences. A ho ho, a ho 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 ho. Hi, bye. How's it going? Woo. Oh, for me, if I don't get a feeling one way or another about someone, that's usually a big indicator there's something wrong with them and I shouldn't associate. Oh. Also, hello, Orla. So good to see you. Hooray.
So that's like if a person is a void of response, that's the bet. That's like, nope, not interested. Goodbye.
Yeah.
I hear feeties.
Yep, there were feeties. Good morning, husband. It might be.
Yeah.
All right, do the thing, have the fun. See you later, Eva. 8 minutes left. Holy crap.
Hmm?
So something tells me RK just woke up. He was up kind of late too.
Mm.
And dozing off on stream. Void of response, yeah. Good or bad, light or dark, yeah. Which is interesting because I don't consider myself a particularly good or bad person. And I'm not a light person. Pretty dark. I might not be morose, but I'm not earning the name B today. I can't get myself to write. Oh, I haven't been writing and sleeping poorly for 3 days and I don't know why. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe it's the full moon. Mm. Love meeting those people you know in a split second. Oh, I like you. This is going to be fun. Like our relationship. But oh well, what's the coffee chat about today? We were talking about the differences between the hedge witchery and chaos witchery and other witcheries disciplines. Because the bad dark doesn't necessarily mean evil. It's just that our energies don't vibe. Oh. You sound like a needing to break, yeah. All them full moon vibes.
No, Sage, you're doing fine because it seems to me that
There's
it seems
like a positive and negative energy, maybe.
yeah, and everyone's honestly, I feel like everyone's interpretation of auras is going to be different anyway because we're all because all of our perceptions don't necessarily work the same way. As like one of the first instances of aura response that I'd heard of before was strictly color. Was like color, was like masses of color, and those colors only meant specific things to that person. It's like she described a group of people. She described a group of people that she didn't like as a huge orange Jello mold. It's like, and because she despises the color Jello, or the color orange. So it's like, it was like that was her warning that she did not want to be involved with that group of people. So,
interesting. Yeah.
so it makes perfect sense, at least to me.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for joining me for coffee this morning.
Yay!
Yay! If you want to do an outro of some kind, you are welcome to do so.
My name's Raven Stromdance. I will drop the last unicorn joke this time. And I do writing. There's a Patreon. My Rookery storytelling. I can put the link in there real quick. There is no current tiered structure. If you want to pay something to read there, you're welcome to. But right now it's all free. Well, that's me. Okay. Outros are not my strong point.
I don't know if it counts as premonition, but I get a pretty strong feeling to pull back from a person if it gets draining and continue. Energy vampires are a thing. Also, hi ADHD. Yes. Rebecca. But when there's no energy to vibe with, then there's problems. Oh.
Yep.
So there's the link to the Patreon. I'm
double checking, making sure that works. Yeah, it looks like it went to the right place. Okay. Had that problem before.
There's like a point I know I have to put some distance, or I'm gonna get pulled into something I don't want to spend energy on. Yeah. Bye, Fee. Bye, Sako. Bye, Alexis. All the wifeys are here. The fam. Hi. Yep. On Sage's channel, possibly there will be a writing sprint / pen name workshop in 1 hour. So there's a possibility that Sage will have a power outage, but I will try to carry on the sprints. We will see you in about an hour.
All right. Good journey, everyone.